I'm Toni Carver from TLC Style Colour, and today I wanted to talk to you about layering your clothes but without adding all the bulk so you actually still feel stylish. So the key to layering is actually fine thin layers, and fine thin layers are actually better at keeping you warm and toasty rather than one thick garment. For most of us, everyday life is either just being at home or being outdoors. So what you have to think about is actually just adding lots of thin, fine layers. It could be t-shirts, it could be long sleeve t-shirts. What I tend to do is actually have a long sleeve t-shirt, which I will have underneath. If I'm feeling particularly, chilly that time, I might have a vest underneath it and then have the long sleeved t-shirt, or a t-shirt underneath and then a long sleeve t-shirt. But because they're thin and fine, it means I can layer them and not add too much bulk to my frame, and then add a cozy knit jumper, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, a woolly garment, something like that that then goes on over the top. Your base layer is basically that element which is going to keep the heat closest to your skin. So I would say merino wool is probably one of the best that you can get, or a cashmere blend in there as well if you can afford it. But if not, just fine thin layers. You'll read a lot in terms of outdoor wear that actually cotton is one of the worst, but actually if you've got a cotton and polyester blend, which I think a lot of my long sleeve tops are, you'll be absolutely fine for sitting in the house and popping to the shops, etc. So next up, you've got your mid layer or your second layer. Now obviously it depends how many layers you're going to have underneath, but actually just think what's on top of your base layers if you choose more than one. This is then about your jumpers, your sweatshirts, your hoodies, depending upon how thick it is. So this is a kind of medium knit. So it's not a very fine knit, it's not a very chunky knit, but obviously it does still have a little bit more to it than a fine knit jumper, which sits a little bit closer to my body. This layer is actually about adding and retaining some of your body heat. Depending upon how fine knit it was, you could actually layer something else on over the top. So this is where it could be a jacket, it could be a coat, it could be a fleece, and obviously you can add your scarves and your accessories there as well. If you want to avoid the bulk, still feel and look stylish when you leave the house rather than being a giant yeti, the key is to choose fine thin layers, use your summer items underneath your winter items, and actually build your layers up that way so that you don't have to end up like a huge giant yeti. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Keep warm, stay safe. If you've got any questions, do let me know. You'll find a blog also on the website, www.tlcstyleandcolour.co.uk. You can also check out a quick reel as well on Instagram.